Alright, here we go. New album time, and it's a big one this week. Something I personally have been looking forward to for a long time. Kanye West. His new album's out, and it's simply called Yay. So, at the moment, we're currently balls deep in a Kanye West resurgence at the moment. We hadn't heard from Kanye West for a couple of years now, and he had some mental problems last year. He had a bit of a mental breakdown recently, and he's been saying some controversial stuff online and all that. You know what it is. We're not really here to talk about gossip and all that. He said some stupid shit, and yeah, people were pissed off. People were pissed off with Kanye West, but now he's got a new album out. Let's find out if it's good. So the project is simply entitled Yay, as in Y-E, short for Kanye. So the first thing to note on this album is that, much like Pusha T's album from last week, this album is entirely produced by Kanye West. Now, Kanye West has been known to use a lot of ghost producers and a lot of ghost writers to help his songs. He sort of sees himself as a creative CEO of each of his albums. So at present, it looks like Kanye produced this entire thing himself. There's a lot of production from Mike Dean as well. Additionally, France and the Lights have contributed as well. The longer we get from the album's release, the more we're going to learn about who helped Kanye make the beats. But essentially, for the purpose of this review, Kanye produced this album himself. Likewise with Pusha T's album from last week, Daytona. Now, at the moment, Kanye West's new thing is to have albums that are 7 tracks long. So Daytona was very short, very tight project, and likewise with this, it's very, very compact. You don't really hear a lot of 7-track albums these days. Pusha T himself said nowadays a lot of albums in rap are 18 to 20 minutes long, so we're going to just make it 7 and just say fuck you. So the first thing to note about the beats on Yay is they're very, very minimal. It's very much the sort of minimal direction Kanye's been going on since Yeezy came out. So the minimalism is definitely a theme of the beats. I mean, Yikes, very minimal. It's just a few drums and a few little synth keys. Likewise with Ghost Town, which really is a stripped back instrumental. The minimal beats are very much apparent on No Mistake, which is another fantastic song on this album. It's really just some drums, a few keys, and just the Slick Rick sample just looped over. And it's got some great vocals from Charlie Wilson on the hook. It's quite nice to hear people sampling Slick Rick again. I mean, that's been a hip-hop hallmark throughout its history, and it's quite nice to hear that again. It sort of feels a bit familiar. And just overall, the beats on this are brilliant. I mean, Kanye West produced this whole thing like he says he has. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. There's really good... It just has like a really nice feel to it. It feels really rich, even though there's not really much on display here in terms of instrumentation. The lyrics themselves seem to be more mature than the last time we heard Kanye West on The Life of Pablo, where he was talking about like fucking Taylor Swift and fucking bleached assholes and all that sort of stuff. Here, it feels like he's grown up a little bit. You know, he still has a line about. Oh, he loves Kim Kardashian's tits because he can like focus on 2 things at once. I mean, yeah, it's amusing, but it's still quite. The last song is especially interesting, Violent Crimes, and it sort of is the same theme as Nas's Daughters from the Life Is Good album, where we sort of hear Kanye reflect about how he's treating women now that he's got a daughter of his own. Because on Nas's Daughters, he was talking about how he sort of had these girls and he wouldn't treat them very nicely and that. And now he's got a daughter of the same age. He sort of understands a bit more about women. He's a bit more respectful towards them. And it's sort of like punishment because she's going around with these men. And now he has to watch and just hope she doesn't get into too much trouble. It's the same theme here with Kanye West. It's not done as well, but it's very tastefully done. He sort of talks about his sort of imagining just having to be violent towards her partners if they're trying to be mean to her. But then if he's trying to restrict her too much, and she's going to drive him into her arms. And he sort of speaks about it from experience. And it's an interesting thought here. Again, continuing the theme of women, one of the songs he apologises to Kim Kardashian for his recent controversies and embarrassing them in the media, and he sort of thanks her for sticking with him through these difficult times. And despite what you think about Kim Kardashian, and I personally am not a huge fan, they've been together for like fucking like 5 years or something now, so something's going right there. Not my, I don't really care. Like, he loves her, cool, they've got kids, whatever. Yay was definitely recently recorded as well. It feels like Kanye West has just hit a creative streak recently. I mean, the references on Daytona felt very, very current, and especially on Yay as well. These are really, really current stuff he's talking about. He references that TMZ rant he went on, and that was probably about a month ago now. He's talking about Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels and all that sort of stuff. So I get the impression this is really recently done from Kanye, and he's just sort of just got in the studio, and he's been locked up in Wyoming of all places, and he's just been making beats back in his 5 beats a day summers and all that, and he's just making beats, fucking rhyming over them and just sending them out. And this album feels very good for that, because of that process. It feels really current, feels really like we're getting Kanye's side on all this controversy and all this sort of shit he's been kicking up recently. And there were some great songs on here. I really like this album. I think Yikes is brilliant. Ghost is absolutely great as well. Ghost Town, that's what it's called. Ghost Town's really good. You sort of hear three solid sides of Kanye. You hear him, you hear Kid Cudi, and you hear the new person on the label, 070 Shake. And she's really good. I've liked some of her solo work that I've heard after listening to this album. She has some really good features on here, especially on Ghost Town, where she just closes the track out and the beat sort of changes around her vocals, and it's really... And Ghost Town is closed out really nicely by 070 Shake, who's a new signee to Good Music. I hadn't heard about her before this project, but like on Late Registration, when no one heard of Lupe Fiasco before that came out, feels like she's just come out of nowhere, and she has some really good moments on here. The end of Ghost Town, the beat sort of alters and changes with her lyrics as well, and it just feels great. I really like the potential of this new person here, and she sort of closes it out very nicely. And it's a great album. It really is nice. I really, really like this. Seven songs long, very short as well, very concise. Great songs, no mistake as well. We've touched on this already. Charlie Wilson's vocals in the chorus, brilliant. And it's just a really, really nice album to listen to. You can just, doesn't even take half an hour to listen to it. And yeah, I think this is one of Kanye's better ones recently. And I thoroughly recommend it. Very good.